Right now, thousands of people are stuck in the same dilemma. Do you buy a Tesla today, or do you wait for the Model 2? Because on one side, prices are dropping. Inventory discounts are real, and existing Tesla models are more refined than ever. But on the other side, there is a looming promise, a smaller Tesla, a cheaper Tesla, a Tesla designed for everyday life, not luxury buyers. The Model 2. And if the rumors are even partially true, this could be the car that finally makes electric vehicles feel like a rational decision, not an emotional one. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Waiting is not always smart, and buying early is not always wrong. So in this video, we are going to answer this question honestly. Not with hype, not with guesses, but with logic. We will break down who should wait for the Model 2, who should absolutely not wait, and how timing, budget, age, and usage patterns completely change the right answer. Because the best decision is not the same for everyone. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly which side you fall on. Quick reminder before we go deeper: if you want clear, no hype Tesla buying advice that actually helps you make better decisions, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, you will not miss updates as Model 2 information becomes more concrete. Now, let us start with the most important factor that decides everything: your timeline. Who should wait for the Tesla Model 2? Let us start with the people for whom waiting actually makes sense. Because despite the hype, the Model 2 is not for everyone. But for a specific group of buyers, waiting could be the smartest financial decision they make this decade. First, you should seriously consider waiting if price sensitivity is your number one concern. If spending $35,000 or $40,000 on a car feels uncomfortable, even with incentives, the Model 2 is built for you. The entire reason the Model 2 exists is to push the entry point lower. Smaller battery, simpler interior, optimized manufacturing. Tesla is not trying to make the cheapest car possible. They are trying to make the most efficient car at scale. That difference matters. Second, waiting makes sense if your driving needs are modest, if you mostly drive locally, if you rarely take long road trips. If you average under 10,000 miles per year, then you are not paying for range or performance. You do not need. The Model 2 is expected to focus on realistic daily use, not extreme scenarios for retirees, part-time workers, or anyone who mostly drives around town. That is exactly the sweet spot. Third, waiting makes sense if your current car still works, if your existing vehicle is reliable, if maintenance costs are manageable, and if you are not under pressure to replace it immediately. In that situation, waiting costs you very little, you gain clarity, you gain options, and you avoid buying a car right before a major shift in pricing. This is especially important for older buyers. Depreciation hurts more when time horizons are shorter. Buying closer to the lowest sustainable price reduces that risk. Fourth, waiting makes sense if simplicity matters more than features. The Model 2 is expected to be straightforward. No luxury packages, no complex configurations, no overwhelming feature lists. For many people, especially seniors, that is not a downside. It is relief. A car that is easy to get in and out of, easy to park, easy to understand. That is the real appeal. But here is where we need to be honest. Waiting is only smart if waiting does not disrupt your life. If your current car is failing, if repair costs are stacking up, if reliability is becoming stressful, then waiting can become expensive in ways people do not expect. And that brings us to the other side of the decision. Because for many buyers, waiting is actually the wrong move. That is what we need to talk about next. Who should buy now and why waiting can backfire? Now let us talk about the other side of the decision. Because while waiting for the Model 2 sounds logical, for many people it is actually the wrong move. And in some cases, waiting can quietly cost you more than buying today. First, you should strongly consider buying now if your current car is becoming unreliable, if repairs are frequent, if maintenance costs are rising every few months, if you are constantly worried about breakdowns. That stress has a cost, not just financial, emotional, every unexpected. Repair eats into the money you think you are saving by waiting. In that situation, delaying a purchase does not preserve value. It leaks it. Second, buying now makes sense if you drive a lot, if you commute daily, if you regularly drive long distances. If fuel and maintenance costs are a meaningful part of your monthly budget. Every month you delay switching to an electric vehicle is another month of paying for gasoline, oil changes, and wear items over 1 or 2 years. That adds up quickly. Even a modestly priced Tesla today can offset its higher purchase price through lower running costs sooner than most people expect. Third, buying now makes sense if incentives matter to you. Tax credits, regional rebates, utility incentives, these programs change constantly. There is no guarantee that the same incentives available today will exist when the Model 2 arrives. In fact, as electric vehicles become more common, incentives often shrink rather than grow. Waiting can mean missing out. Fourth, buying now makes sense if you value proven products. The Model 2 will be a first-generation vehicle. And first-generation vehicles almost always come with unknowns, manufacturing ramp challenges, early software quirks, limited availability. Current Tesla models have gone through years of refinement, charging behavior, thermal management, build consistency. Tesla has improved dramatically over time, but early adopters still take on more uncertainty than later buyers. If peace of mind matters more than being first, buying an established model today can be the safer choice. Finally, buying now makes sense if your life situation demands certainty, if you need a car within the next 6 to 12 months, if you cannot easily wait for unknown timelines. If availability delays would create real problems, then waiting is not strategic. It is risky. The Model 2 will arrive when it arrives. Production will scale when it scales, but your needs are immediate. So, here is the reality. Waiting is smart for some people. Buying now is smart for others. The mistake is assuming there is one right answer. There is not. The right decision depends on timing, usage, finances, and tolerance for uncertainty. And that leads us to the most important part of this entire conversation. How do you decide which option actually fits you? That is exactly what we will break down next. The simple framework: wait or buy. At this point, the question is no longer emotional. It is practical. So let us simplify this decision into something you can actually use. Forget rumors. Forget timelines. Forget hype. Here is a clear framework you can apply right now. Ask yourself these 4 questions. Question 1. Do you need a car within the next 12 months? If the answer is yes, you should not wait. The Model 2 is not a guaranteed short-term purchase. Even if Tesla announces it soon, production and availability will. Take time. If your current car fails tomorrow, waiting is not a strategy. It is a gamble. If the answer is no, then waiting remains an option. Question 2. Is your budget capped or flexible? If you have a hard ceiling on what you can spend, waiting makes sense. The Model 2 exists specifically to lower the entry point. But if your budget can stretch and you value comfort, space, or performance, current Tesla models already solve those needs today. Tesla is not replacing the Model 3 or Model Y with the Model 2. They are targeting a different buyer entirely. Question 3. How do you actually drive? Not how you imagine driving. How you actually drive. If most of your trips are short, if you rarely road trip, if you mostly stay within your city, then the Model 2 is likely a perfect fit. But if you regularly drive long distances, tow or need extra space, the compromises of a smaller car may frustrate you over time. Buying now can prevent regret later. Question 4. How do you feel about uncertainty? This question matters more than people admit. The Model 2 will be new, first generation, with unknown wait times and early production variability. Some people enjoy being early adopters. Others find it stressful if uncertainty makes you anxious. Buying a proven model now can give you peace of mind. If uncertainty excites you, waiting may feel worthwhile. Here is the takeaway. If you need certainty, reliability, and immediate savings on fuel and maintenance, buying now is often the smarter move. If you have time, flexibility, and a strong desire for the lowest possible entry price, waiting for the Model 2 can make sense. There is no universal answer. There is only the right answer for your situation. And that brings us to the final piece. What happens if you choose wrong? Is the risk really that high? That is what we need to address next. If this framework is helping you think more clearly, subscribe to the channel. We focus on real decisions, not hype, and you will get updates as Model 2 details become official, waiting versus buying now. Most people frame this decision the wrong way. They ask, what if I wait and miss out? But the better question is, what am I actually risking either way? Because both choices have costs. They're just different kinds of costs. Let us start with the risk of waiting, the hidden cost of waiting. When you wait for the Model 2, you are betting on three things: that timelines hold, that pricing lands where you expect, and that your current car behaves nicely in the meantime. None of those are guaranteed. Every month you wait while driving a gasoline car, you continue paying for fuel, oil changes, brake wear, and unexpected repairs. Those costs do not pause just because you are waiting for something better. Over 12 to 18 months, that can quietly add up to several $1,000s. There is also depreciation risk if your current vehicle loses value faster than expected. Waiting can reduce your trade-in value right when you need it most. And then there is the uncertainty factor. The Model 2 will be new. Initial availability may be limited. Demand could exceed supply. You may end up waiting longer than planned or paying more than hoped. Now let us talk about the risk of buying now. The risk of buying too early. Buying now comes with its own concern. What if the Model 2 launches soon and changes the market? That fear is real. If the Model 2 arrives at a much lower price, it could put downward pressure on used values of existing vehicles. However, this risk is often overstated. Here is why. Electric vehicles deliver savings over time. Fuel, maintenance, software updates. If you are driving and saving money now, you are not standing still financially. You are offsetting depreciation with real monthly savings. Additionally, current Tesla models are mature products. They have gone through years of refinement in charging behavior, efficiency, and reliability. That stability has value. Tesla has a history of improving cars after launch, but early generations always involve trade-offs. Buying now reduces uncertainty. Waiting increases it. So which risk is bigger? It depends on one thing. Time. If you plan to keep your car for many years, buying now and enjoying lower running costs can outweigh the risk of a cheaper model arriving later. If you plan to buy as cheaply as possible and keep costs minimal upfront, waiting may still make sense. But here is the key insight. Most people miss the worst outcome is not buying now or waiting. The worst outcome is drifting. Waiting without a plan, buying without intention. Once you choose a path deliberately, the risk becomes manageable. And that brings us to the final question. After weighing everything, what is the smart conclusion? That is where we end this discussion. So, should you wait or buy? After everything we discussed, let us bring this down to a clear, honest conclusion. Should you wait for the Tesla Model 2? Or should you buy now? Here is the simple answer. If it is 2025 and you need a car within the next year, buying now usually wins. If it is late 2026 and the Model 2 is officially launched with confirmed pricing and availability, waiting could win. But today, it depends on urgency. Let us split this clearly. If you are buying in 2025 right now, current Tesla models are mature, charging networks are established, software is refined. Incentives still exist in many regions. Tesla has already optimized manufacturing. For models like the Model 3 and Model Y. That means fewer surprises if your current vehicle is aging. If maintenance costs are rising, if fuel expenses are noticeable, buying now starts saving you money immediately. Waiting, in this case, is speculation, and speculation is rarely the safest financial strategy. If you can, comfortably wait until 2026 if your car is reliable. If you are not under financial pressure, if you're highly price sensitive, then waiting becomes strategic, not risky. The Model 2 is expected to focus on affordability, simplicity, and urban practicality. It will likely sacrifice size and performance. compared to larger models, but that trade-off could be exactly what many buyers need for retirees, for city drivers. For second-car households, the Model 2 may be the better long-term fit. The honest verdict there is no universal right answer, but here is the practical rule. Buy now if you value certainty and immediate savings. Wait if you value lowest possible entry cost and have time on your side. The mistake is trying to perfectly time the market. Cars are tools, not investments. The right decision is the one that reduces stress, not increases it. And sometimes clarity is more valuable than chasing the next big thing. If this breakdown helped you make a clearer decision, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We will continue tracking the Model 2 as real data replaces rumors. Tell me in the comments, are you waiting for the Model 2 or are you buying now? I genuinely want to see where most of you stand. In the next video, we will run a full 10-year cost comparison between buying a Tesla today versus waiting for the Model 2. If you care about real numbers, not just speculation, stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Stay practical, stay informed, and I will see you in the next one.